Hey guys, I'm getting a late start to the morning today. I've been wanting to update you guys on some of the things that have been going on. I've been spending actually quite a bit of time here this morning trying to figure some things out. So figured it out, so I'm going to share with you guys kind of what I learned. But first I wanted to go over the some of the progress that I've made with these contracts. So today has been, pretty down day in terms of like the volumes. So like with proof of weak hands, I'm let me zoom in here a little bit so figure this. Okay, that's better. So with proof of weak hands, I've made 0.05 ETH today. POW has really crashed. It's been like the worst day, and just got into CG now. I'll go over that in a little bit. ETH Phoenix and locked in got a little bit of volume, a little bit more than, I mean, typically like this was pretty much totally bottomed out. So there's like a little bit of volume in there. And then proof of Craig Grant, I'm pulling out of that completely. So I just pulled out and I had, basically a 0.1596 balance. And so, so basically to go over proof of Craig Grant, like if I total these up right here, basically what I pulled out, that's 0.83 ETH. And so I put in 1 ETH. I was able to pull out 0.83 ETH. So I lost, 0.17 ETH, with that basically experiment. There's a lot of reasons for pulling out. Like the idea behind these contracts is that you get in and you don't pull out. You, if anything, you're reinvesting. You're pulling out your dividends, but you don't want to. These are like it really takes some strong reasons to pull out of these contracts, and you really should not be getting in and out unless you really feel that you can beat the odds in terms of like trading. So if you feel like you can guess the top, you feel like it's only going to get this high, and you feel like selling out, and you feel like it bottoms out, and you want to buy in. That's going to be really difficult to do, and it's not really something I would recommend. But like I was getting really frustrated with proof of Craig Grant. Like it had just really come up or come onto the scene. Really, May 1st was kind of when I just gotten into it. The websites are not functioning, so the POCG.site is not working. Yesterday, I used the backup site, which is POCG.fun, which was hosted by Craig, and he just took that down, understandably, because now he's kind of moving on to this new platform that he's developed, and looks really interesting. I want to go over that here in a little bit. But yeah, those websites were down. I was having a problem. If you want to pull out your money out of proof of Craig Grant, there's a website here. I had to sign up for Discord and create an account to get in here, but this is proof of Craig Grant, or I'm sorry, this is POWC.io. This is a site that I've come across a couple of times, and there's some really interesting like data on here. It has, you can select any of the contracts that are hosted on the site, and there's a lot to choose from. And one of the things I really like about this site is you kind of get some historical data, which is one of the reasons why like I've been trying to document things on a spreadsheet, was because I didn't have a whole lot of resources to go by. So this is really good. This is interesting. Let's take a look at proof of Craig Grant here. See if I can find it. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. So this one is really really kind of collapsed in terms of like, there was a ton of people really kind of getting into this. This was like the third, the third option, maybe behind POW and proof of weak hands. And so there was a lot of volume, a lot of volatility, and then it really had crashed. Part of this was Craig getting out based on some information that he had come across, and then it bottomed out. He got back in, and so there was a little bit of a resurgence, and now it's really died off. And I don't anticipate that this is going to come up anytime soon. And so there are a lot of problems, a lot of rumors flying around. Part of it was Kenny Dang, the developer behind the proof of Craig Grant platform. A lot of the masternode referral earnings, which were pretty high, is roughly around like between 8 and 9%. and that was all going to Kenny Dang's address, and that a lot of people were able to figure a lot of this stuff out and find some of this stuff out, and kind of going through some of the source code. So Time is Crypto even commented one time. He was like, one of my videos is, go check out the line on these codes. Like, there was just some really shady stuff that was going on behind that. There was, unfortunately, Kenny Dang has got a history with ETH Connect. I mean, in theory, it's a good idea. You're kind of copying, some of the successes that we've seen in the cryptocurrency market. And he was trying to, kind of come up with some platforms, and, maybe there's some reasons that I'm not fully understanding, but everything that he's kind of been associated with, unfortunately, has not done very well at all, and is something that right now I would, until he proves himself or comes back and shows that he actually is a credible character, I wouldn't trust anything that is kind of associated with those characters. So proof of the Craig Grant now was one that's just come up, and so this is, I just got into this. I put a 1.5 ETH in, roughly. I was part of the ambassador list that Craig put together here. So right now I'm holding 4,000 tokens. So I went in, like this, like the balances. This is basically the proof of Craig Grant concept without the scammy stuff involved with it. So this is a project that has a 25% incentive to get in. So there's especially initially here, I think there's going to be a lot of volume. There's going to be a lot of dividend earnings and whatnot, and I think it's going to do pretty well here now. This is one though, if you're going to get into a contract like this, you have to have the mentality that you're getting in and you're going to hold, and that you're not going to be coming in and coming out, because you're losing 50% when you do that. 25% on the in, 25% on the out. I just signed up for Discord, so I'm just starting to get into this a little bit, and so there's an active community here, and so there's people, Craig's in here talking and whatnot. Oh, there I am. So yeah, there's oh, that's an interesting chart, kind of the chart of basically the balance that we've seen so far. This one is, I think it's worth getting into, and this is the one that I'm kind of substituting for the proof of Craig Grant. This was basically what proof of Craig Grant was supposed to be. But it's probably a good thing that it happened, that some of this stuff happened, because now you have Craig that is taking more of a leadership role in his ability to take over this project, which is great. Unfortunately, you had some people with a shady past, or just a past in general in cryptocurrency, that were putting out a project like Proof of Craig Grant, and it had nothing to do with Craig at all. And so initially Craig was I think if you even watch some of his stuff, he was like, man, this is racist. This is terrible. This is awful. And then more he kind of started looking into it. He was like, man, actually this is, it's just a clone. It's just another clone. It's just a different kind of marketing. So he got into it, and so he's getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out. And so that's why you saw a lot of the balances and stuff fluctuating with that particular contract. But now, it's the way I'm looking at it is I don't see this really coming back. You need people to promote it, and the main guy that is on the name of this contract is promoting one that's the same thing, just without all of the negative stuff behind it. So these are the 5 contracts that I'm getting into. I'm documenting my process, my progress with these contracts, and kind of see how these do. Right now, ETH Phoenix and Locked In, there's just no volume. There's no one getting into these contracts, And I think part of it was I wanted to get into some of the older ones, just so I can kind of have a little bit of a reference point. You can see that ETH Phoenix and Locked In are essentially dead. They really are doing, Like I'm not getting anything from this. However, like the balances haven't moved down too much. So people that are in those, like you can see like ETH Phoenix had a 243 balance, like it's down to 220. And same thing with locked in. Probably just about all of the dividends that I've made have been from people kind of selling out. There's really no one buying into these contracts. And that's really what it comes down to, is people getting into and wanting to buy into these contracts. Proof of crypto Clover, yeah. You know, I'm interested to kind of see some of the stuff that is going to happen that Craig's working on, and some of the other guys in the space, because they're actually working with developers and trying to put something out. And that's something that I would really like to do. I wanted to network with some developers here in Vietnam, but if I'm going to get behind something and support it, like I want to be more involved in it. Like I don't want it to be just a clone with my name on it and everyone would, you know, either you're buying into it or you're not. Like I feel like there needs to be some sort of you need to have somebody behind the project that's going to you know, talk about it, that's going to give you some sort of updates. And that's actually one of the things we've seen that's kind of been the trending smart contract recently, has been proof of Trevon James. You can see like it's been in the top 10. It was as high as 8 not too long ago, but 241 active users, so that's pretty respectable right there. The balance is still fairly high. There's been quite a bit of volume. You know, the numbers aren't quite as high in terms of like the dividend earnings, because I believe it's like 7%. Oops, oh crap, there goes my battery. Oh, bear with me one second. I gotta get my battery going here. Bear with me, like I just moved, so I got all my stuff like all over the place here. I'm still getting situated. Great, I don't even know where my cord is. All right, well, I'm just gonna have to work with this. But yeah, proof of Trevon James has been one that, now that it's in the top 10, like I'm not getting in to proof of Trevon James. Like it's still like just with the history that we've seen with some of these contracts, like for instance, you know, like this is very possible that we may see something like this again. And so that's why like I could see it as a big risk. So like, you know, Trevon is promoting it right now. He's kind of getting behind it. He's been out of making YouTube videos for a little while, but should, you know, that change or something, he gets out of it, you may see this happen right here. And this could be really bad for people that are getting into it. But as long as he's in it and he's promoting it and he's supporting it and behind it, it might be a good one. But I'm staying out for right now. There's a host of all their clones to look at. Like I haven't even really looked at, like you can just see like the list of all of these in here, that you can see a lot of the clones and whatnot. Like I know this proof of BitConnect was like down to like 1 ETH in the contract at one point. I went in and checked in this morning, it was like 13 ETH. Some of the ones that I would be interested in would be some of the foreign ones. Like I think this is like an Indian one or something. And some of these other ones that are foreign, I think could be really good. So like one of the things I wanted to mention is all of the volume, all of the activity in these smart contracts is happening when I'm asleep, because it's all in America. It's all basically in kind of like that time zone, that demographic, however you want to look at that. But I'm starting to get a lot of people here in Vietnam that are really interested in kind of what I'm doing. They've been sitting on the sidelines a little bit, just kind of wanted to see how things were playing out for me. But now I've got some traders here. They want to get in and they want to start promoting this a little bit here in Vietnam, kind of maybe with their own spin. So these could be, you know, once you start to see these, like they're taking off right now in English-speaking countries and with English-speaking communities, primarily in America. Once you start to see this kind of grow and get a little bit of growth in some of the international markets, I think that's when this becomes a very viable investment to get into. These are really smart ways to earn more cryptocurrency. You're putting in an investment, and it's incentivizing people to hold and to get in, and you know, it's like mining in a way. Like you're putting in an investment, and you're getting a little bit of crypto in return. So I'm going to be doing an update. I know I've had several people that have commented that want to get some more updates on Osama in particular. So I'm going to be doing. I've got a bunch of video and everything that I'm going to be putting out. Like I've got a ton of video from all my tours and everything there. But Osama looks really good. IE Miner, I need to do a little bit more research. IE Miner is completely like 100% like Vietnamese, and so that's kind of the problem. There's a little bit of a language barrier, but they do look like a really reputable mining company. So there's been several others that I'm kind of looking into. Like pretty much most of them, I'm looking to put in like $1,000 into a lot of these different projects and kind of show you guys how that's been going. So I'm invested in Osama, IE Miner, and Genesis Mining right now in terms of mining. One of the other things I wanted to do is I wanted to get more into the altcoins. So I've been busy since I've been moving, but the idea that I had, and one of the things I kind of wanted to do with this is that basically like every day I'm making a certain amount of money in dividend earnings. So like today was my worst day. I made $128. I didn't include the cash out from POCG. So that's just the $128 from the other platforms. But I did include basically my best performing one was CGNW. Once I got up to 4,000, which was maybe a couple hours ago, I didn't really want to put any more into that. I'm just going to let it ride for now. So you can kind of see like this is my account right here. So I'm holding 4,000 tokens. I made like 75 bucks in the volatility. So that 25% is huge. The 25% is a big incentive, especially for like promoting it and getting people to understand more about these contracts, getting into some of these different things. Like it gives me more of an incentive to promote this platform as opposed to others, because for those people that would be getting involved in this one, now that I have a little bit more confidence that there's some legitimacy behind this and that there's a community behind it. It makes it easier where I don't have to worry about all of the shady shenanigans that are going on in the background, like what we were seeing with Proof of Craig Grant, unfortunately. So this is a very interesting space. It's going to be changing, very rapidly. Like it's been a week, it's been a week, and let's take a look at some of these things I've written down. So here are the volumes. So you can see like the volumes have really come down quite a bit, but they're not going away. Like we had a big volume day today. Well, I'm including the Proof of Craig Grant or the CGNW right now, but like the volumes have really just, if we take that 141 out of there, it's only been like 30 ETH in volume. So the volumes have kind of come down a little bit. We're seeing the balances come down a little bit. So again, and I'm including, this right here into the equation, but this has dropped basically by about 140 or so in the total balances. And then you can look at the daily active users. It's come up a little bit in proof of week hands. Poo still has a very strong daily active user count. The other ones have starting to die down, and so. The one that maybe you could add to that mix would be Proof of Trevon James, where it's got like 200, how many active users? Like 200 some odd, 241. Yeah, Proof of Trevon James is backed by the biggest crypto YouTuber. Yeah, I mean I think that's big with the people that are getting behind and supporting these smart contracts is the people that are behind them. I think what you're going to see, Proof of Week hands is still going to be probably the most conservative one to get into right now. Like the volume is really just kind of like progressively been going down, which is it's a little worrisome, but like I haven't. none of the top holders are getting out. So like I'm in 39, the 39th position right now, and that hasn't changed. Like people above me, people below me, at least in kind of like, you know, the top 50 or whatnot, it hasn't been changing a whole lot. And so like you're seeing, I think a lot of people are just holding and kind of riding out this slow time right now. But if you take a look at like the POW contract, like that was one where I was in the 60th, like I was way below the 60th position or so, and I started kind of moving up. Now that there's just been this huge sell-off and whatnot, I wasn't really anticipating this, but I'm at number 21 right now. I'm 21st in POW. So the idea that I have is to basically get into like roughly like a 50th position in these smart contracts. And like if I get up too high, like with with POW, like theoretically, like I could sell out or sell back to get into the 50th position or roughly thereabouts. But I mean, right now I think I'm just gonna roll with it and just see how it does. I'm checking with the chat a little bit. I was number 4 in POW. Staying in proof of Trevon James. Trevon in here? What's going on, Trevon? Yeah, that's a good point. I have 130,000 subscribers. If I get 4,000 people to become a holder, it'll be number 1 on DApp radar. It shows the power of the promotional element behind it. What happens when Craig gets bored and ditches out like he did to 5 other contracts, screwing those people over? You know, Craig is going to do what Craig is going to do. I wouldn't, he's going to make decisions based on what he feels is best at the time. These contracts change very rapidly, and there's things that are happening all of the time. So, you know, like if you saw, like, I mean, Craig went from proof of weak hands into POW and was like he had like 2 accounts in POW, and they were like very, very large accounts. He got out to get into proof of Craig Grant and was really, you know, promoting that pretty hard until we started learning a little bit more about what was behind that project. It wasn't as simple as just calling it, you know, a clone. It was there was more to it. And I think that's one of the things that people started, you know, kind of once they started digging a little bit, there was some more info there. And now you kind of seeing like he's kind of getting into one that he can really get behind and promote. So like, you know, there's, I don't know, like there's some negativity with Craig with some of his things, but I think part of it is just like, just a little bit of like inexperience in the space. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, I feel bad for people that are over investing, that are putting a lot of money behind some of these projects. Like that's not really something, like if there's a couple of people that I know that are maybe over invested in some of these platforms that took big hits. And so like, that's not necessarily something I want to see, but this is a very new space. This is very volatile. So it's hard to see, you know, what's going on. But if Trevon stays in POTJ and he's gonna promote this and he's gonna get behind it, I'll invest a little bit into it. He made Kenny into a smart contract god and bailed on Kenny so fast when POCG came up. I mean, if you read into that a little bit, like Kenny's a developer, but he's a developer with not a whole lot of experience. And once I heard that, like that was like, I mean, he has enough experience to create a clone. And so like, you know, if once it starts getting into like more technical subjects and things like that, like he's going to rely on other people that are more experienced than him to kind of help troubleshoot and problem solve with certain things. And so You know, like he is a very authentic person in the space that's showing his face, you know, that's giving some legitimacy behind the project, but it's really died. Like, I mean, I put three and a half ETH into this, and I've just been pulling out dividends, and I haven't really been wavering a whole lot, but the contract's down quite a bit. So like, I'm not really hardly making anything. And you can lose a lot with some of these projects, like if you're not timing them right. Like, you know, I'm making a little bit of money in dividend earnings with some of these projects, but like I've lost quite a bit in just ETH value. Most of the ETH that I've put in, like I put 47 ETH into proof of weak hands, and I'm just holding it there. Like I'm not planning on taking it out unless something drastic happens. But you know, I've lost a little bit of my value in that project. Like now you can see, like I'm down to like 33 ETH. So some of these, you have to have the plan or the intention that you're going to be staying in these for the long haul. And that's kind of like, it's only been a week. So these are going to fluctuate a little bit in price, but if a little bit of volume comes back into these contracts, that's really all you need to kind of get back to a break-even point. So with proof of Craig Grant, I mean, luckily I didn't take a huge loss in that. You only lose essentially when you sell. But with everything that's kind of been going behind that project, I don't really feel like it's worth being involved in right now. Craig kills turtles. Yeah, I saw that video. I mean, you know, it's whatever. I mean, like, it's, you know, I guess it's not the most humane of things, but like literally, like right down the street here, they eat dogs. So like, I think part of it is kind of like the American perspective on things. Like it's, you know, it's not necessarily something I would do, but you know, like, I mean, they literally, like, there's a place over here, and it's very common here in Vietnam, like they boil dogs and they eat them, you know. So like, if you're going to be one for animal rights, like it's you know, it's a little bit different once you get outside the U.S. Turtle soup. What's going on, Trevor? Glad to have you. $142 in the Craig Grant now contract. Yeah, I mean, it's been steadily climbing. Like this is where my rewards are coming from right now. So I got 142. Like every time I just got almost like 0.1 ETH. You know, since I last checked this, I got to update my list here. So I'm anticipating that I'm probably going to make quite a bit in this contract initially. What I'm going to be interested is like what happens a week from now, because like we've seen like what's happened with some of these contracts in just a week's time. Like POW had like let's go over that. I mean, POW has really just kind of like has collapsed. Like POW had 500 daily active users, and you can see like it's progressively been going down. I'll put my mouse over that so you can see that. So it's like the daily active users gone from 503 to 211. So it's steadily kind of, you know, dropping. And you know, you can see that like some of these other like contracts in terms of the balance, like POW had 609 in there. Now it's a tenth of what that was. You know, it was like half, you know, not too long ago. So these contracts, it's very easy for them to have the ETH balance drained, especially if you get people that are not, you know, getting involved or that are just deciding to get out of these contracts. So like the ETH Phoenix, like this was the first wave of clones, was kind of like ETH Phoenix and locked in. And you can see like their balances haven't changed too much. And so they've been remaining pretty steady. And so those are interesting ones to look at, especially from a historical standpoint. If like some of these contracts, if they have some sort of baseline, like I think that's what we're starting to see with proof of week hands. Like I really think that like proof of week hands has a pretty large ETH balance in it compared to the other ones, but it hasn't gone down a whole lot. Like, you know, we had 6,900, you know, now we're at 6,100. It's come down a little bit, and, you know, it's continuing to come down, but yeah, I thought about, I didn't know that for sure. Thanks for that, Artie. You're saying that ETH Phoenix was around before proof of week hands. There's not a promotional element to ETH Phoenix, like you can't, there's no like master node or referral system or anything like that. But their site like does seem like that there are some legitimate developers behind trying to make this project go. So, and I know the code's a lot different than proof of week hands, but yeah, like I'm interested to see how those kind of do from just a historical standpoint, because like if you know, if history repeats itself, you know, then we may start to see some of the same thing, especially with some of these clones. The difference that we have now is that like with ETH Phoenix, you can see here, like we don't have a name or a face really to put behind this. We don't have anyone that's really updating us. It's, you know, it's a pretty nice website, you know, like, but you know, I'm not making much. Like made like $3 in dividends, and so like I'm not really pulling much in. But like my balance isn't really going away. Like I put half an ETH in, you know, and the 10% fees and, you know, and pulling out or whatnot is really what that is from. Like this used to be 0.4 ETH, so like there's less for me to be able to pull out. But you know, you can kind of see at the top here, like there's just really I think in order to make this project go, they really need to get somebody behind it promoting it, and you know, that's not really happening. Same thing with locked in. Locked in's kind of the same deal. Got more people on today. I wasn't expecting to get so many on. Usually these have been later in the day, so I'm kind of getting like the late night crew. No toilet paper here. They use these sprayers. You got to get used to spraying water up your butt. Yeah, you guys want to see the view? Yeah, I want to show it. It's nice, and they're building some like office retail. It's all by the same like development company, this Novaland. They're building one. The pool. I mean, this is a pretty big building. Like, I don't know how big this thing is. It's probably like 30 floors or so. But this area down here, there's this beautiful area. I'm gonna probably my live stream from there tomorrow. They've got this beautiful area that overlooks like the park, like on the other side, and it's a nice little spot. It's gorgeous. Where are all the dep lambs? I don't know what dep lambs are. Yeah, it's hot here. Yeah, it's 813. It's like 18.5 million dong for the spot. And it's a 2-bedroom. So like I've got, like my office is still a mess. Like I'm gonna be working on this today, but basically trying to get like all my computers and everything set up. Like I got all the wires and everything on the floor. Like I just moved in here. But I like having the space. I really like the kitchen. It's a nice open kitchen. But yeah, I might have the spare room for if I wanted to have some guests over. But honestly, like it's so cheap here. Like if you want to just get like, there's a hotel over here called Green Ruby that typically I recommend people if they're coming out. Like I had Crypto Jade came out here for a little while, and he wanted to crash at my place. I was like, dude, just get a hotel. They're like, it's like $15 a night. It's like nothing. So, you know, it's cost of living here is great. it's going to allow me to travel some more. I'm planning on doing some more traveling here in Asia once I get a little bit more set up here. Do you see any Americans there? Not really. Like like there are some Westerners, but typically they're European. So, I mean, every now and then, like there are some Americans, but they really like Americans here in Vietnam, and much more so. I think people get annoyed by by the Australians. Like I've had some pretty good experiences with Australians up in Seattle and Vancouver. They tend to travel up there quite a bit. When I was working, or when I was doing Airbnb and like hosting on the site and whatnot, there was a lot of I got a lot of Australians, and you know, but over here, kind of in this area, like they tend to party hard, and then like the natives get really annoyed with them. Yeah, I am sweating. Yeah, it's hot. I can't escape the heat. I'm gonna lose so much weight being here in Asia. But all right, I'll probably stay online here for a few more minutes and take a few more questions, and then get busy with some of the things I want to get done today. I got 3 air conditioners in here. Yeah, there's some beautiful girls. I'm actually I'm talking to a model right now, and I went on a date with her a couple of days ago, and she's kind of young, but she likes me, so that's like she actually does live streams as well, so she's got a much bigger following than I do, but yeah, like I've had some interesting relations, I guess, with the ladies here in Vietnam. There's the English to Vietnamese translation is pretty difficult though. Like I feel like it's like people in the Philippines speak better English. You know, people in Singapore obviously speak better English because it's more native there. But even like Indonesia, I feel like they speak a little bit better English because it's a little bit of an easier translation. It's not very easy, the Vietnamese to English. Vietnamese is phonetic. You can read it, and they will understand you. I use Translator a lot with them if I have to, or I just have like have a girl with me that can help me translate, which helps. Some of my Vietnamese friends are out of town right now, so waiting for them to get back in. Yeah, we'll see what happens with POTJ. Like I kind of want to hold out for a few more days, and part of that too is like the way I had set this up was I'm only taking like a third. I'm taking a third of my dividend earnings and using that to reinvest. And so if I take a third of my dividend earnings right now, like that is 0.67. So since I already like invested, I took my money out of one and then taking my dividend earnings and investing in there. So basically like I'm a little bit over right now. So like I may wait maybe like a week or so, see what happens with Proof of Devon James. And then if it's still around and still doing well, I think that that might be another good one to add to the list. Party at Clover's. You can host great parties here. I'd love to host a party here. I told some of my Vietnamese friends we're gonna set something up like a housewarming party or something. But like the downstairs area, I'm gonna do a live stream down there tomorrow so you guys can check it out. I mean, it's as long as there's Wi-Fi. I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is there. That's really nice. So, but yeah, that's about it. Like, it's kind of what's been going on with the smart contract world right now. So, I mean, the big thing is to try to get into these, try to find good picks, good solid picks. You know, don't put in more than you're, you know, willing to lose. I mean, with some of these, you have to be willing to, you know, worst case scenario, like perhaps pull out and lose like half of what you initially put in. Like I've only pulled out of one so far, and there were some pretty extenuating reasons for that. You know, I lost a little bit, you know, in that platform. Others lost a lot more, and a lot of that was the 25% in, 25% out. And now that we're kind of finding out that there was a lot of referral, you know, money and bonuses and whatnot that were being funneled to the developer, you know, Kenny Dang. So that was unfortunate. I don't think you're going to see that in some of these other contracts. You're not going to see those same type of antics. But that's why I'm kind of sticking with the ones that I'm in right now. And I think that's the way to go, at least right now. I mean, this space is going to change. We may see a whole different game here in the next week as we as this kind of space develops. But yeah, be sure to leave it in the comment section below. See you guys.